So here's a confession. Even though I am deep in the Apple ecosystem and use multiple iPhones as daily drivers, I bought myself a birthday present, which is a Pixel 9 Pro earlier this year. Not for specs, definitely not for compatibility, but simply for pure enjoyment. Frankly speaking, I think that's enough to tell you how much I love this phone. And now with the Pixel 10 out and my Pixel 10 Pro Fold on the way, I think it's just time for me to say goodbye to what I would describe as hands down my favorite Android experience. For some context, I've been using an iPhone since the iPhone 4S, and since variety is the spice of life, as they say, I just wanted to try something different. I mean, you wouldn't eat the same food forever, unless it's pizza, or maybe that's just me. But anyway, I wanted to try something different, and I did try the Samsung S23 Ultra a few years ago, and although I was really impressed with the hardware and even the software, the phone just never made me fall in love with it, unlike this Pixel 9 Pro that I have right now. So one of the great things about the Pixel experience is that it's a distilled Android OS. It's not bloated. It might even feel a little boring in the beginning, but that's one of the beauties of the Android system, is that you can customize it however you want. So I personally chose a different launcher. I chose Smart Launcher for this really clean and simple UI, and that alone has elevated the general experience already. For my iPhone friends, a launcher is basically the layout or the UI or the design of the OS itself. So it still runs on Android, but it just looks different, which gives you a very different experience. And there's a ton of them to choose from. I just went with something that is fairly simple, but I can still customize it, and it just feels like it came from the factory like this. Now to the part that really matters to me, and it's the camera. So Google has really done an amazing job with their computational photography, because for whatever reason, when I take pictures using the Pixel 9 Pro, it just feels a lot more satisfying. The colors are more natural. It is a little bit more on the cooler side, as opposed to the iPhone's warmer and sometimes even green tint. And the shadows are not aggressively lifted. There's no over sharpening. As a matter of fact, I've even had some instances where I didn't really feel like busting out my actual camera to take photos, so instead I just grabbed my Pixel and started snapping away. And while the iPhone has the action button on the side, I do prefer this double-click feature on the lock button on the Pixel, because to me it just feels more natural and much more intuitive versus long pressing the action button. And I don't know why I've never gotten used to that, but whenever I grab the Pixel, I know I just need to double-click on this, then I'm straight to the camera. Then there's the video stabilization feature, which surprised me because honestly, I didn't expect it to be this good. So now every time I pack my camera gear, this Pixel goes in the bag automatically. Smart features of the Pixel are impressive. I think they're much more useful than the smart features on the iPhone, but I have to admit, I don't use them all the time. But those times when I actually needed to use them, they were very helpful. Hey Google, what is that part of the toilet that determines if the water is full? And if that breaks, what do I need to buy so I can replace it?
The part of the toilet that determines if the water is full is the fill valve, which includes a float. If it breaks, you need to buy a new toilet fill valve.
Can I buy that part at Home Depot, and around how much would that cost?
Yes, you can absolutely buy a toilet fill valve at Home Depot. They carry a variety of brands like Fluidmaster, Corky, Danco, and even specific ones for brands like Kohler or American Standard. The cost for a universal toilet fill valve typically ranges from $8 to $20. More specialized or quiet fill models might be a bit higher, sometimes in the 20-30 range. You can also find repair kits that include a fill valve and flapper for around 15-25.
When it comes to build quality, I have a confession. I think that the Pixel 9 Pro feels much better than my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I know this one's titanium, this one is aluminum, and even the glass that they use in the front and the back is not as scratch resistant as the ones on the iPhone. But for whatever reason, this feels just hefty and has a really nice build quality. And it's very hard to show this on camera, but when you hold a Pixel Pro in your hands, you will quickly understand what I mean. Now, this being an old phone already at this point, I'm not going to go over the specs because you guys already know that. And since I shared some of my favorite things about this phone, I do want to share some of the things that I kind of don't like about this phone because it's not perfect. I think the selfie camera is not good compared to the iPhone. First of all, you just look much more distorted when you're using the front camera of the Pixel. Here's the selfie cam on the Pixel. I think the lighting is a lot more realistic. It's a little bit cooler. Not really sure about the distortion. It's the same distance that I have compared to the iPhone 15, but I feel like I have to pull it back more to make it look a little bit more flattering. And I think it really just has to do with the focal length. The selfie camera on the iPhone, although it's been around for like a decade now at least, does a really good job at capturing a more flattering focal length of your face. And here's another quirky bit that I never really understood why, but when you connect a microphone to the USB-C of the Pixel 9 Pro, the phone doesn't automatically switch the input. You have to manually set it in the settings that you're using the microphone that's attached to the Pixel. And it's not one of those things where you set it and you forget it. Every single time you attach a microphone, you have to go through the settings. It's very annoying. Basic editing on the Pixel 9 Pro is a little frustrating because you first have to save a copy and then you start editing it using Google Photos. I just end up editing things using Lightroom, even though it's just like really small edits. Apps can be buggy, especially when I'm uploading to social media. Also, the UI for the camera app is very confusing. It just feels like I have to tap so many things to get to what I want, and it's not as intuitive as the iPhones. And that's saying a lot because I find the iPhone's UI to be not as intuitive as I would like it to be. This one is a small side note, but the lack of a magnetic wireless charging feature is annoying because then you would have to use a case with those magnets for you to enjoy that feature. And since this doesn't have it, I started to realize how much I actually rely on that feature. The good news is that particular problem and some others are addressed in the new Pixel 10. Which leads me to the main reason why I'm letting this go. The reason I'm letting it go is because I want to experience my first foldable phone. And if I'm going to experience one, I'd rather choose an Android device that I really like, and that would be the Pixel. Now, I know that the camera system on the Pixel's Fold versions are not going to be as good as the ones from the regular Pro models. Don't know why it is. It must be because of packaging or something, but you can look it up. It's not terrible, it's just not as good. And I think I can live with that. Plus, like I said in the beginning, variety is the spice of life. And I think it's just time for me to try something new. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see how it goes. And I'll make sure that I update you once I get the phone. Thank you for watching. I'll see you again next time.